Cancer. It's time for your weekly horoscope for the coming 7 days, trying something a little bit different. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you ever want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links down below in the description bar. I do want to remind everyone, I've got a sale going on right now, 20% off all services, including gift certificates, and I'm accepting donations, and your Build a Spread horoscopes, they're getting workshopped by me right now. So I'm working on it. Hopefully we can get those up here pretty soon. So what is going on when it comes to this week? This week is a jailbreak in and of itself for a lot of you Cancerian people. And it's the best way I could phrase it, because the Hermit card reversed, as far as your theme, as far as your, the central theme of what's going on behind all areas of your life, is all about you getting out of confined or isolated spaces and into circulation, into completely new social spheres, new professional spheres, new opportunities for you to really kind of stretch and grow and build maybe even a spiritual muscle and a social muscle that ultimately you've not really had a chance to give as much time and energy to as you want. With that Hermit reversed, remember, it's all about getting yourself a chance to not only be put out there, but to also be seen, to be found, to be discovered. And that's a big story of what is playing out behind all occurrences for you this week. Because as we get on to the material realm, we talk about work, we talk about money, we talk about your home life, or at least as it relates to your living situation. We've got the Justice card reversed. And there is either the discovery of either a material or professional or again, living situation betrayal, or possibly the confrontation of one that you have been living with, permitting to exist, or simply giving to that you really have no business giving to. And with the the Justice card in reverse, a lot of you could be breaking ties and shattering alliances and even accounts and things like that this week, because, well, honestly, it feels as though the situation is kind of betraying itself. It's not really doing anything for anyone who's bothering to hold it up. It could be a money pit. It could be something that is creating a block or a wall or a containment around professional progress. And for some people, I think that this could be, it might not necessarily be a fresh discovery. This could be something that you've been sort of living with, humoring. Maybe we've been, allowing ourselves to get used, even by other people. We talk about like family members, friends, things like that. And we catch this situation this week, or we start nipping it in the bud this week. And with the Hermit card reversed, it does look like that is the way this is supposed to go, because now we have a chance to, now that we see the problem and the writing is on the wall, then the remedy should not be far behind. And the good news is that it's not far behind. And I think that we can actually do a great deal of reversals of whatever this distorted or negative situation is, especially even for stuff that's been ongoing. We can start reversing things that maybe we thought we had to live with, or that we were stuck with, that were already in this kind of experience. And so very, very good news for you here. Normally when I get this card, I don't see good news, but for some reason that's what's coming out. As we get on to your community card, your friends, your relatives, other people in your life, you've got the Hierophant in reverse. And I feel like a lot of you are kind of, again, very much with that Hermit card reversed, your coming out is supporting somebody else's coming out. And that's really what's happening this week. We are kind of taking off some kind of, identity, uniform, projected expectation, something that we've been maybe holding up. We're taking off some kind of reality that we've been holding up with other people, whether it's in a social group, whether it's, again, in the family, in a spiritual group or something like that. But us actually doing this is also lifting up somebody else who's there. And that's a very, very big deal for you Cancerian people, because you're kind of unmasking yourself and you're giving this other person permission to unmask themselves. And I am seeing a close, very tight relationship there that is about to blossom. You know, it's kind of like you're finding a needle in a haystack or the diamond in the rough when you decide to get up and say, I'm not going to sit in this pile of rough anymore. And the interesting thing about the Hierophant card reverse is that you broadcasting this, very much Hermit reversed, is also giving this person permission to share with you all of the stuff that you actually do bond over or that you didn't know you could bond over. You know, it's like, again, a good example of this would be if, and I've done this plenty of times, where you kind of just stand up in a group of people that, you know, and it doesn't make any sense, you know, and you kind of, you know, well, it has to make sense, but, you know, you kind of share your own personal truth, you share your spiritual truth, and it's maybe not exactly the most grounded thing in the world. I mean, you have to make it intentional, articulate, and understandable and mindful, but you may find that it's also giving another person permission to express that side of themselves as well, that higher dimension of thought in themselves as well. And you may even be surprised by who you're giving permission to. You may be surprised to find out how much of the same page a lot of people can be on if they just have the permission to share the stuff that they don't have time or maybe the social support or the crowd to share it with, right? Because a lot of people nowadays are still in a space where it's like, well, no, for the sake of family or the sake of tradition, or the sake of this clique or the sake of this whatever, this agreement, this social agreement, I can't do that. Well, people need to start having some permission to be free to express those kinds of higher thoughts or those more creative thoughts, those more artistic thoughts. And yeah, you could be getting a new BFF, you know, kind of pseudo-relative, soul relative out of this as well. So maybe it's time to see what happens when you do. As we get on to your challenge this week or your your lesson that presents this challenge, again, we have the Three of Swords upright. So the topic of betrayal comes out once again, but with the Hermit card reversed, I am seeing that it's really about accepting what a betrayal is and what a betrayal is not, and also understanding when we need to know when to leave something behind, even if it makes us feel irresponsible. It makes us feel like we're doing the betraying, right? Because that could be a tough spot. You know, that could be a tough spot to be in, especially if you feel some artificial moral code to not ever do that. And sometimes artificial moral codes can kind of come from, like, again, family situations, old relationships, betrayal or abandonment trauma, things like that. They create these sort of like artificial moral code programs that make us feel like, okay, well, we can't do something that might, no guarantee, but might be seen as a betrayal by another person. But that could box us in. And this week is all about a jailbreak for y'all. So this is where I think that your challenge is going to be. Where are you okay with actually doing that, with taking your leave and leaving even certain messes that are there, right? Leaving messes uncleaned. Sometimes you don't have to wrap everything up in a little bow. Sometimes you don't need to get closure. You don't owe people closure. You don't owe any of that. And I think that this week you may be challenged to know when that is an important thing to do. I mean, goodness gracious, with the Hermit card reversed, I mean, it's how much more do you need to stay in a certain situation or locked in a certain situation when you already got better things to do? As we get on to your relationships, we talk about love, we talk about romance, we talk about partnerships and things like that. We've got the Wheel of Fortune upright, and with the Wheel of Fortune upright, there actually is just a really, really cool expansion on many new kind of factors or elements coming in to join this relationship. When I say factors and elements, I'm talking about, breakthroughs, sure, when it comes to maybe even, opportunities for a new space to actually express this relationship. I'm seeing a lot of you possibly even getting a chance to kind of either move or move the relationship in a different direction in that sense. But with the Wheel of Fortune, we're getting kind of an all levels of the relationship start to level up at the same time. And this has to do as well with the more activity going on in your life outside of the relationship and the more activity going on outside in your partner's life outside of their relationship or however people involved. This basically does automatically shift up opportunities for the relationship. It's kind of like, okay, whenever I hit this over here, this light turns on. It's basically it's an interesting lesson in synchronicity and seeing how everything is kind of woven together, how that flow and how timelines actually work, because the relationship is going through a massive upgrade, and the only reason the relationship is going through an upgrade is because everyone involved is getting upgrades and fixes in their personal life. You know, you're clearing away so much negativity and you're basically making your jailbreak. Your partner may be actually having a lot of breakthroughs of their own, and then suddenly this is a huge turning point for how this relationship is going to operate or cooperate. For those of you that are actually, you know, looking for a new partner or something like that, this is going to put you in the spaces that are going to actually be providing partners that are going to be where you are already heading, right? And I think a lot of this has to do with that jailbreak energy as well. So that's what I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session, go on into my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.